Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video, and it's a big one because today I'm going to be doing my final championship top 6 predictions, predicting the top 2 in order and then who's going to make it into those wild playoff places. I think we should get into it straight away by predicting who we think is going to take the automatic promotion spots. And I think it's kind of a general consensus, isn't it, that there's 3 amazing teams in this league: Coventry, Middlesbrough, Ipswich Town. The current top 3 I think will finish as the top 3 at the end of the season, but in what order? I mean, it's really tough. You know, I'm a Coventry fan, you know I'm biased. 52 points on the board all season. I think if we get 40 points over the last 20 games, finishing on 92 points, we will win the league, but I'm not sure we'll be able to hit that total. It's a high total. 2 points a game is tough to achieve, and the recent defensive slip-ups and errors have cost us slightly, and we've also lost that kind of goal-scoring form we had at the start of the season where we just hit everyone for like 4 or 5 goals. It was absolutely brilliant, but it's slowed down a bit recently, and the form's dropped off slightly as well, so I actually don't think Coventry are going to win the league, and I'm going to predict that here. I think the winners of the league are actually third place right now. Ipswich Town, I've said it all season, I said it pre-season, they had the best squad in the league. The changes they can make are ridiculous. Jack Clark, Jaden Philogene, Sammy Schmodix, George Hurst, Wally Egley as well, Marcelino Nunes. I mean, their squad is a joke at this level. They should be, right now, clear and away top of the league. If they'd have been able to replicate what Leeds or Burnley did last season, they should be in that position. They're not right now, but I do think they will make up the ground on the top 2 and ultimately probably go on to win the league. They've progressed in the FA Cup, which is an interesting factor, which could lead to more fixture congestion and tired legs, but I've just listed off some of their attacking options there. They should have no trouble rotating, winning points. I actually think the 3-game weeks might actually give them some momentum and really start to see them make up ground quickly, and there'll be some key fixtures at the end of the season. I think it'll be very close between all of these 3 teams, by the way, but I do think Ipswich are the most likely to go on and win the league. It brings us to Middlesbrough and Kim Hellberg, who I think is a brilliant manager, by the way. I'm excited to see how he gets on, and who knows, even if he gets sacked, he might become Man United manager in a few years. Look at Michael Carrick, eh? I think Middlesbrough are a really good team. I think they are deservedly second right now, and I think they're going to push Coventry and Ipswich all the way. But I can't back against Coventry. Come on, guys. I'm going to predict us to finish second. Of course I am, which means I'll have to put Middlesbrough third. Middlesbrough, fantastic. And they're making some interesting January additions. Sarmiento's been hotly linked with them as well. I think that could push them over the line in the playoffs, but I don't think they'll get the top 2. I don't. I think it's going to be very close. I think any of these 3 teams could win the league, but I think it makes sense back in the pre-season favourites with the best squad. They've got an 8-point gap to make up to Coventry, which is big for Ipswich, but they've got a game in hand. If they win that game in hand, it's only 5 points. And I think Ipswich probably will be 5 points better than Coventry over the final 20 games of this season. Middlesbrough, they're going to push them both very close. And I think it could even go down to the final game week, which will leave us all sweating if you're involved and very excited if you're a neutral. But I think the reason you clicked on this video, right, isn't for me to talk about the top 3. It's to talk about who I think is going to finish in the playoffs. And genuinely, I think anybody, maybe even all the way down to West Brom, are involved in this playoff race. West Brom's new manager could have a blinder and get them right back into it, and they're only 10 points off the playoffs. Swansea and Vita Matas have a long way to go, and I don't think they'll make it, but it's not out of the question. This league is just absolutely bonkers. And look at the teams in the playoffs right now: Preston, Millwall and Watford. Who would have predicted that at the start of the season? Certainly not me. I had Preston going down, I think, so shows how much I know about the Championship. Paul Heckingbottom's made me look a fool. Arguably the manager of the Championship so far this season. They've only lost 5 games, the same amount as Ipswich, and only 1 more than Coventry, but they've drawn an awful lot as well. 10 draws on the board. I think they're a good team. They've proven they're a good team. But I'd never, ever trust Preston to make it into the playoffs. I don't know if that's just muscle memory and thinking that I won't be able to do it, but I think they're probably just going to miss out again, guys. And I'm sorry, Preston fans, and you're welcome to try and convince me in the comments that I'm completely wrong, but I just think some of these other squads have a bit more attacking verve about them, a bit more excitement, and a bit more individual quality, which ultimately can win games at this stage of the season. I was very tempted to put Millwall in as well, but I haven't. I absolutely haven't. Alex Neil is such a safe pair of hands at this level. He's got Norwich promoted before. He's made this Millwall team very difficult to beat and get points against. But I'm just not sure they've got the same verve as some of the teams I'm going to mention. I don't think they're as strong at the Den as they potentially should be. I think they've lost 4 games at home this season. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's right. Yeah, 8 wins, 2 draws, 4 defeats. 17 goals for and 17 goals against, which isn't too bad at all, but it's a 0 goal difference where when you compare it to Ipswich at home, plus 13, Watford at home, plus 11, even Birmingham at home, plus 14. They're not making the most of that home form. The away form, 17 points on the board from 12 games, isn't too bad. And I think they're going to come very, very close as well. But I haven't put them in my top 6 because I need to make room for the teams that I think are going to be in. This is such a tough call, guys. But I have put Watford in the top 6. 4 wins in a row, and I've really, really tried not to be swayed too much by recency bias. But I think it plays a factor, doesn't it? They've looked like a really, really good team lately. And the reason I'm putting Watford in over Millwall and Preston is the fact their home form is so good. They've got the same number of points at home as Ipswich, 28 points from 13 home games, 8 wins, 4 draws and 1 defeat, scoring 23, conceding 12, basically the identical record to Ipswich Town. 2.15 points per game at home is more than good enough to take you very, very close to the playoffs, if not in it. They do need to improve away from home, but I think they will under Javi Gracia. The attacking talent is absolutely bonkers, isn't it, when you look at it on paper? Iran Kunda's amazing. Iran loses one of the best, if not the best midfielder in the Championship. Chatfatadze's come back fit and is just a joy to watch. Marma as well. I mean, this Watford team has a couple of the best players in the league, and that's why I think they will make it into the playoffs. And I know that might seem like a bit of recency bias, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I have supported them all season. I think the quality will make a difference as we get into February, into March, and I think they will be able to secure a top 6 finish, which leaves 2 places. And I have to say, massive, massive credit this season to the likes of Hull City, to the likes of Stoke City, to the likes of Bristol City. QPR are up there as well. This really is wide open. Hull, by the way, level on points with Watford, but that defensive record, you just don't know what you're going to get with them. They've scored 40, incredible, conceded 38, dreadful. They are just bonkers to watch, massively entertaining, but ultimately I think they will just concede too many goals or maybe miss out on goal difference or something that close. I think they'll get top 10, but I don't think they'll be able to crack the top 6. Stoke, hit and miss. I can't trust them to get into the top 6. Bristol City, I like Gerhard Struber a lot, but ultimately, again, probably too far off. One team I have been behind in recent months, and I am going to put in my top 6, is Wrexham. Oh, that's not going to go down well, is it? People love to hate the Hollywood team. They love to hate Phil Parkinson, but what they've done in recent months has been fantastic. They, like Watford, have won their last 4 games in a row. They also progressed in the FA Cup by beating Nottingham Forest and scoring 3 goals against them as well. And going forward, they're looking like a really good team now. Looking a bit more fluid, arguably without Kiefer Moore. Kiefer Moore's massively important. One of the best in the Championship. Phil Parkinson knows what he's going to get, and he'll be a boost when he comes back from injury. But they're coping really well without him as well. Ben Sheaf's been magnificent in midfield, and the team we saw earlier in the season, the back 3 not able to cope with anything and conceding goals left, right and centre with Danny Ward and Connor Cody in Danny Ward in goal and Connor Cody in defence. This is a completely different team, isn't it? They look really settled, they look really good, and their home form, they beat Coventry at home, they've had some big scalps in North Wales. I think that's going to be enough to carry them over the line. The underlying numbers kind of tell a bit of a false story because it includes what we saw at the start of the season where they were really poor at both ends, to be honest. If we look at the recent data, it's far more improved. I think they've got a bit of money to spend in January as well. A couple of new additions, if they need them, could carry them over the edge. And I think when I compare them with the other teams in the chasing pack, I just want to get behind Wrexham and Phil Parkinson. I think the momentum's on the side. I think they've got a good enough squad to get into the top 6, absolutely. And I think I will back them to get into the top 6, which means, by the way, at the end of this video, I'm going to list the teams in order in the positions I think they will finish. Get your comments in the down below in the order you think the teams will finish in the Championship playoffs this season. But my final team in the playoffs, I'm having to look down the Championship table for this one because I've taken Preston and Millwall out, which is a massive risk, and I'm aware of that. And the fans can have a go at me in the comments. I understand. I understand that you've had amazing seasons so far. But I'm backing Sheffield United to make it into the playoffs from 16th in the league. They've only got 32 points from 25 games so far, but they were hamstrung for the first 5-6 games of the season because Ruben Sellers was manager, and they lost every single game. Since Chris Wilder came in, especially in the last 2 months, they have been trending like a playoff team. They've been getting nearly 2 points a game, which would normally get them close to the kind of 90-point mark that they achieved last season. They look to be now playing that same sort of style of football and winning games. They are a really, really good football team with, as we all said at the start of the season, individual quality that should have them in the playoff pictures. Gustavo Harmer's amazing. Callum O'Hare's arguably been player of the season. Patrick Bamford's come in and done really well. Japhet Tanganga is phenomenal. Then you've got Arblaster and Peck in midfield as well, who are just great operators. This team, majority of them, got 92 points in the Championship last season. They've got the same manager at the helm now, and they need to close a 9-point gap on Watford in 6th and an 11-point gap on Millwall in 5th. That seems like a big ask. Preston, by the way, also on 43 points along with Millwall. That seems like a massive ask, but they've got a game in hand. If they win that, they're only 8 points behind Preston. They're only 8 points behind Millwall. With the way they're playing and the quality they have, can I see Sheffield United getting 8 points more than both Preston and Millwall as we approach the end of the season? Absolutely, I can. Absolutely, I can. I think it's time to look at Chris Wilder and think, you're a fantastic Championship manager. Phil Parkinson's proven himself at Wrexham as well. And when I look at the other contenders further down and the ones we expected to be in the mix pre-season, Birmingham, Southampton, some people had them as the top 2 in pre-season, 14th and 15th right now, but they've not shown any sort of form that convinces me that they can get up the table. Southampton did well when Tonder Eckert first came in, but they've fallen off a cliff recently, and Birmingham can't win a game away from home, and if you've got ground to make up, you need to start winning away games, and they've shown absolutely nothing on the road. Sheffield United have shown me in the last few weeks, in the last few months, that they have enough about them to really go on a winning run. Sheffield United could win 6 out of 8 games and be right up in the playoff mix. I think Wrexham are too good at home to ignore and will be able to close the small gap, 3-point gap between them and Preston and Millwall right now, and I think they'll be able to bridge that gap over the next 20 games. And Watford, I'm backing a team I just really like. I really like their attacking players, and I think their manager's very good as well. So they're the 3 teams I'm backing to join Middlesbrough in the playoffs. So my final predicted top 6 Championship table is Ipswich Town to win the league in 1st. It's Coventry in 2nd, going up automatically. I'm going Middlesbrough in 3rd. I'm going to put Watford, in form Watford with all that talent, in 4th. In 5th, I'm going to put Sheffield United all the way up in 5th. What a turnaround that will be. And maybe they can even end that horrendous playoff form and the playoff hoodoo that has cursed them. So they looked like winning at Wembley, didn't they, last summer? And somehow they lost it. But I'm convinced they will get themselves into the playoff picture. And finally, Wrexham. Believe in the fairy tale, the Hollywood fairy tale. I mean, it doesn't exist really, does it? But they've done a tremendous job climbing up the leagues, and now they're competing with these big Championship clubs with a decent squad and a squad that should finish in the top 6. I think their home form's brilliant. I think Phil Parkinson will get some credit finally if he manages to get them in the top 6. Please do like and subscribe and get your thoughts in the comments down below. Which teams are going to finish in the top 6 in the Championship this season? But that's all from me for now, and I'll see you next time.